Would you look at the time? It's time for another video. Good day to you, fellow adventurers throughout time and space. It is I, the Cowardly Time Lord. We're back to Let's Read My Stories, an older series on my channel, and this is part 7 of it. So if you want to, you can go back and rewatch the other parts and catch up on this story of mine, The Origin. Well, you can catch up on the parts that or previously of it, which was A Tale or Two and The Knowledge of What Lies Beyond the End. It's the two stories that came before this. Now, let's begin with the prologue. Also, title picture, whatever you call it. I drew that myself. Anyways, let's get on to the prologue. Before this story starts, let's take a few steps back and then a few steps forward on a different trail to the year 2067. Will, are you sure this experiment is safe? Said Matt with disposition. Originally it was asked Matt questioningly, but one of the couple people I asked to edit my story told me that it would be better if it said Matt with disposition. And I don't fully understand what that means, but it does sound better. Code names, Matt. Code names, exclaimed Will. Right, sorry about that, think tank, said Matt. Get back to work, mad scientist. This portal through the rift isn't going to build itself, and of course it's safe, said Will. 1 year later, the portal is doing something. Ah! Screamed Matt. Matt, what happened? Wait, Dustin, is that you? Will, you've aged. What happened? Asked Dustin. You've been missing for 50 years, and yes, there's the whole question of how would this character Dustin recognize Will if 50 years have passed, but this is the year 2068 now. Technology, nanomachines, whatever. Point is, you get the point, said Will, even though it's our own fault because we brought you to the future. Darn machine, said Matt. We were trying to get a prehistoric piece, but instead we got you, said Will. Well, it's stolen for the history books, said Matt. Heh, when did you get so good at telling jokes, Matt? Get why that's funny? It's time travel humor. Doesn't exactly translate well. Asked Dustin. About the same time we brought you into the future, said Will, sorry. On which end? Asked Dustin. Both, depending on the way you look at it, said Matt. Time travel is confusing. But I have a question for you. Are you having any side effects from time traveling? Asked Will. Does this count? Asked Dustin, while making pieces of wood fly around the room. Yes, it does, but we go by the code name, so from here on out, you will be known as Sliver McGiver, said Will. Back to our current time in the story, in the year 2033. Go watch me reading my other stories or read them yourselves on Wattpad. I'm the Cowardly Time Lord on Wattpad, all one word. If you want to read my stories and catch up, and so this won't be so confusing. Also, this is my second time recording this because the first recording failed. So, maybe I screwed up the universe by deleting the bank. Maybe I screwed it up when I put my faith in the person whose life I tried to correct after I ruined it, said Mr. M. Mr. Mystery. But it's not Mr. E. That's a different character in my story. I've got a Mr. M, a Mr. P, and a Mr. E in my story. And a Director General B. No, it was, what was it? No, it was something more clever than that. It was Director KP General B. That was a character name. That's a character's name in this story at one point. Well, technically, it's a part that I haven't even finished writing yet. That is a part way down the line in my story that's actually where I got writer's block and just gave up on it. Anyways, they don't know that I survived. They don't know that that I have the cop's left hand. They don't know that I'm smart enough to find the original friend. They won't believe what I have to say. I can't believe that this is happening at Christmas, said Flyhair. Chapter 1. Time Stops at Christmas. Cameron, come here, said Dustin worriedly as he sat down in a chair and rubbed his eyebrows. Okay, Dustin, what is it? Asked Cameron worriedly, putting some decorations down and walking over. I just got a call from your sister, McKenna, saying that she's coming here for Christmas and she is bringing a friend. That is a little strange, but understandable, said Cameron. Yes, but she called me electronic, said Dustin worriedly. That's impossible. The cop, killed her, so there's no way she could remember being Flyhair, said Cameron truthfully. Yes, she's probably just drunk again, said Dustin hopefully. Oh, we should just get prepared just in case she comes, and with a friend no less, said Cameron. Brooke, could you make the guest bedroom ready? Asked Dustin kindly. Why? Asked Brooke happily. Well, apparently McKenna is coming for Christmas and with a friend, said Dustin. That's strange. She never calls, let alone bother coming over, said Brooke, puzzled by this. I know, right? Said Dustin. Well, I guess I will get the guest bedroom ready, just in case, said Brooke. I'll go see how your sister Holly is doing and tell her about what is going on, said Dustin kindly. Okay, but Cameron should be the one looking after her, said Brooke truthfully. I know, but he is the one getting everything ready, said Dustin truthfully. You should be the one getting everything ready, not him, said Brooke. I know, but now that I have given up my powers, kindness is all that I have left, said Dustin sadly, while looking at his gold necklace. That's not true. You're still my hero. That makes you the bravest person that I know, said Brooke, while looking at her matching gold necklace that used to belong to Dustin's mother. Thanks, Brooke, said Dustin, putting his gold necklace away. Hey, Holly, how are things going here? Bit of a tongue twister there, but I'm going to ignore it and continue reading because I spent too much time on that when my failed recording, asked Dustin kindly, sitting down next to where she was working. They are going good, Dustin, said Holly, while sitting down after putting up one more decoration. Well, that's good, said Dustin. I just wish Cameron was as nice and caring as you are, said Holly. You are too kind to me, said Dustin. That's not true. You have been kinder to me than Cameron is, and he is my husband, for goodness sake. You would think for someone who wrote this story they would have an easier time reading it than I am having reading my own story, said Holly. No, she didn't say that. I just was continuing on with where I stopped off. I know, but he's just nervous and it's partially my fault. Partly my fault, not partially. Partly my fault, said Dustin. How is that? Asked Holly. I wanted you to fall in love with him, said Dustin. What? Asked Holly. I thought he was a lot more like me than he actually was, said Dustin. You were against it at first. That was just an act. I knew if it seemed like I didn't approve of you two hanging out together, you would without a doubt fall in... I know I just added a bunch of words in there, but I made it so it makes grammatical sense. Without a doubt fall in love, and that was mostly so I could keep track of the four of us that remember the adventures we have had, said Dustin. Speaking of which, McKenna is coming here for Christmas, continued Dustin. Strange, he never showed any interest in us after Cameron and I got married, said Holly. I know, and she called me electronic, almost as if she remembers. It would be bad if she remembers, said Holly worriedly. Yes, very bad, said Dustin worriedly. Hello, Dustin. It's been a while. You should remember Grace, or should I call her the original friend? Before you ask, I do remember being dropped to bits, and I can prove it, said McKenna cunningly. Now, how exactly will you do that, McKenna? Asked Dustin, wondering if Cameron put her up to this. Simple. Here you go, said McKenna, while pulling out a jar with a hand in it. Is that my hand? Asked Dustin. Yes, very perceptive of you, said McKenna cleverly. Excuse me, but he has both his hands, and why did you bring me here? Asked Grace. Restore her memories, demanded McKenna. Even if I could, why would I? asked Dustin. Look around. The world has stopped. And unless you want this to be the Christmas that goes on forever, I would help me to stop the stopping, said McKenna. Why should I care? Time has never stopped for long, asked Dustin. 2 words. The children, said McKenna, pointing at the kids who were currently frozen in mid-step. Now that line, I could have expanded upon it a lot more and made it make a lot more sense. It doesn't make much sense in story form, but basically what it means by that is that usually if time would stop for everyone else, electronic, or in this case Dustin's kids, would be safe from the time stop because they are part superhero basically. And this time stopping doesn't affect superheroes. So this means whatever stop time this time is more powerful than anything else that has stopped time thus far in this timeline. Does that make sense? Also, Dustin's kids don't get names in this story. I know, how sad and terrible is that? They're just referred to as the children. Partially because I'm lazy and I'm not good at coming up with names. Well, there is one place where we could restore the memories that never were. The hotel. Welcome to the Hotel California. Such a lovely place. Such a lovely face. Sorry, I had to sing that. I used to do singing videos on my channel. If you don't believe me, go back and watch them. They're terrible. Don't go back and watch them, said Dustin doubtfully while looking at the children frozen in place in time. Yes, so? Asked McKenna. Well, last time I thought it said, now how? And this time I said, well, how? But it's just, how do you suggest we get there? Why do I want to add an extra word in there? And a different extra word each time I've read it. How do you suggest we get there? Asked Dustin. You know how. Use your glasses. Yes, but I locked my glasses away after the last time I used them. What happened last time? Asked McKenna. I caused a huge blackout. That's why I put all of my powers into my glasses and locked them away. Besides, this time our ages will remain the same rather than being altered by the dimension distortion, said Dustin. Well, get your glasses anyways, and do you think I care about my age being altered again? Because I don't. I know it says I do not. I do not. I did not, said McKenna. Lock can only open if the 4 of us say our real and fake names, said Dustin. By 4 of you, I guess you mean Cameron, Holly, Brooke, and you, right, Dustin? Or should I start calling you electronic again? Said McKenna. That should be asked McKenna and a question mark there, but I'm too lazy to edit that. Start calling me electronic again, please, said Electronic angrily. Okay, Mr. Grumpy, said Flyhair mockingly. I almost said McKenna again. I did that in my failed recording of this. I mean, Flyhair and McKenna are the same character in my story, so it makes sense, but still, how do I make that mistake almost twice? Let's get this over with. Dustin Electronic, said Electronic. Code 1 accepted, said the computer. Brooke Rubber, said Rubber. Code 2 accepted, said the computer. Cameron Stunter, said Stunter. Code 3 accepted, said the computer. Holly Soundbeam, said Soundbeam. Code 4 accepted. Disengaging lock, said the computer. And this is where my last recording crashed, so we're starting off fresh here. Okay, here we are, said Electronic while taking off his regular glasses and putting on their magical counterpart. Let's go to the hotel now, said Flyhair. What's going on here? Why is this happening to me? Asked Grace Wordley as her body became see-through and was surrounded by blue light. Stop with all the questions, said Electronic angrily. I did not know this had ads. Good to see you, Electronic, said Dusty happily. Here, Dusty, take my special glasses. I'll be here in 2 days to give these to... So you give these to my previous self, and we need to use the memory restorer, said Electronic commandingly, while giving his magical glasses to his clone and putting on their regular counterpart. All right, I will get right on that, but won't that create a time paradox, considering I already have a pair of these? Asked Dusty worriedly. Okay, give the pair you already have to my past self, and then give the pair that you already have to my past self then, and keep the pair I just gave you locked away, said Electronic, confused as to how Dusty already had a pair. Electronic, what was that about? Asked Rubber. We've gone back in time, said Electronic. Okay, said Rubber, finally deciding it is better not to question things like this. Angel, we need to restore this girl's memories, said Electronic. It'll take about the same amount of time to restore her memories as it took you to complete your last adventure, which hasn't started yet, said Angel truthfully, while seeing that their previous selves will be arriving soon. So we will witness the past? Asked Rubber. Yes, but not interfere with it. But we are going to need to pick up helpers along the way, said Electronic. Who are going to bring on a new adventure? Said Soundbeam. Asked Soundbeam. Yeti, Spiderly, Sliver, McGiver, Time Bomb, and Siren Caster. But first we have to wait 3 days, said Electronic. I didn't even read what this chapter was called. Chapter 2, some answers, some explaining, and more questions. Sorry, I forgot to read the chapter, so there's the chapter title. First we have to wait 3 days, said Electronic. Come, you have to hide now, said Angel. Is that us? Asked Harper. Yes, it is, said Electronic. Stay hidden. They can't see that you're here, said Dusty. Here comes Spirely and Tiny Slicer. Open the portal to the Cat War dimension now. But our previous selves are still there, right? Asked Rubber. Yes, we are, but I am distracting myself and distracting the rest of you by talking to myself, said Electronic. So you mean to say that you were doing that while the future versions of us were here? Whoo boy, is this ever confusing, isn't it? Asked Rubber. That is correct. We have a winner, said Electronic, remembering when that was said to him by Spiderly in a deleted timeline. Reference that never makes any sense because I completely just delete that. That's a part of my story that's just been deleted from history and will never be read again. Here we are, the Cat War dimension. We better get comfortable. We have to stay here for a week, said Electronic. Why do we have to stay here for a week? Asked Stunter. Because in a week's time we'll have left for Torbor's lair. Then we will have 2 hours to come up with a plan, said Electronic. Electronic, you came from the future just to ask for my help again? Ha! Well, it is good to see you again, and so soon, said Yeti. So, Yeti, are you coming with us? Yes, of course, said Yeti. Electronic, are we being watched, or is it just me? Asked Stunter. No, we are indeed being watched, but by a non-hostile, said Electronic as he looked up towards the ridge and saw a figure coming towards him. You are a hard man to track down, Electronic, said Glockenstick. You're even harder to track down, said Electronic. That's true, said Glockenstick. Excuse me, but who is this cowboy? Asked Rubber while looking at a strange man in a black suit and tie, more accustomed to a butler than a cowboy, and was also wearing a white fedora, who appeared to be riding a robotic horse. Stunter, please fill Rubber in on who this cowboy is, said Electronic, knowing that his cousin will be happy with who it is. Electronic, do you mean to say this is Glockenstick? Gender, male, powers, metal, bones, 4 hearts, 2 brains, regenerating if one heart survives, and moving any organ around in his body, amongst a whole bunch of other things that are not mentioned here because it would be too long of a list? Asked Stunter happily. Yes, it is. In fact, I, the great Glockenstick, said Glockenstick proudly as his eyes appeared to glow gold. Who is Glockenstick, and how do you and Stunter know him? Asked Rubber. Well, that's what we named a character we came up with when we were playing with Lego. I guess due to something strange in the time flow brought him to life, said Electronic and Stunter, but only Electronic knew that it was a lie. Knew that was a lie. That actually does make more sense than knew that it was a lie. What kind of guns are those? Asked Yeti. They are my own magic revolvers. They have been made to shoot anything I need, including sticks of dynamite, said Glockenstick while showing off his skills with guns by shooting random things at random targets. Really, Glockenstick, why are you always with the guns and the shooting? Asked Electronic. What do you mean? Asked Glockenstick. You know how I dislike killing, said Electronic. You sometimes carry a sword, stated Glockenstick. I can choose whether it is lethal or not, said Electronic. I can do the same with my guns. Besides, Yeti carries a gun. Also, you let Siren and Time Bomb carry their guns when they travel with you. And yes, I do know that they will be joining us soon, said Glockenstick. Yes, I know you can choose to have your guns shoot non-lethal objects. 2. Yeti also carries a knife and can use his claws. 3. I can't control what Siren and Time Bomb use. And 4. I'm not even going to ask how you know that, said Electronic. By the way, why does Yeti have an empty scabbard on his back? Also, you think you control what I use? Asked Glockenstick. 1. It is a shape-shifting scabbard that matches whatever form the sword key takes, just in case I need to give it to him. And 2, you have a fair point. I can't really control what you decide to use, said Electronic. Ha ha. I win, said Glockenstick. Glockenstick, why do you have a robotic horse? Asked Electronic. It was a gift. It was a gift, said Glockenstick while taking care of his horse. Is that horse just your motorcycle turned into a horse? Asked Electronic. Yes, it is, said Glockenstick. I'm not even going to ask, but I'm going to ask, have you named it? Said Electronic questioningly. Yes, its name is Cyberzine, said Glockenstick. Oh, I should say that in Glockenstick's voice, because his canon voice is, yes, its name is Cyberzine, which is sort of the voice I've been doing, but a little bit less. He has a very southernish voice. I imagine with a very southernish, slow voice. What? Asked Electronic in surprise. Yes, I named my horse that for a very specific reason, said Glockenstick. To give me a very specific message without causing a time paradox, right? As Electronic? Yes, for I am already the center of one too many time paradoxes, said Glockenstick. Why would you give me that message when you know there is nothing I can do about that creature? Asked Electronic. I was worried you would say that. I'm sorry, but I'm powerless in that regard, said Electronic. I figured as much, said Glockenstick. All I can say is I wish I was able to help you, said Electronic. Glockenstick, one thing that I've always wondered about you is how you escaped the mine, asked Electronic. Like I would ever tell, said Glockenstick. Did I just say ask Glockenstick? I forget what I said. So Glockenstick, one thing I have always wondered about you is how you escaped the mine, asked Electronic. Like I would ever tell, said Glockenstick. Secretive as always, said Electronic. You are one to talk, said Glockenstick. These names are long and they're kind of have a similar ring to them. It's making it very confusing. You make a good point. I think you are going to be a good addition to this group, said Electronic. Who says that I want to join your group? Ha! I'm just kidding. Besides, you'll need my expert skills anyways, said Glockenstick. So you ready to go back to the hotel? Asked Electronic. Yes, we are, said the team. Glockenstick, you go first, said Electronic. Thank you, but we should let the girls go first, said Glockenstick. No, I insist. You go first, said Electronic. Hey, where did they go? Asked Glockenstick. They went ahead of us, said Electronic. No fair, said Glockenstick. Glockenstick, why are you here? You never help someone unless it helps you in some form or another, asked Electronic while flying through the dimension portal. You know me too well, Electronic. Okay, two things. One, this time it is everything in existence that is in danger. And two, the bad guy has resurrected the dead. And you know me. I can never help but kill the resurrected, said Glockenstick, getting comfortable with the dimension travel. The new evil is trying to resurrect him, isn't it? Asked Electronic. Like I said, Electronic, you know me all too well, said Glockenstick, not really lying. Yes, I do, so I know when you are lying to get out of a conversation, said Electronic while exiting the dimensional portal. Chapter 3, The Final Team. So, what is the plan, Electronic? Asked Angel. The plan is to wait in the shadows until our previous selves have left. Also, you send Spiderly, Sliver, McGiver, Time Bomb, and Siren Caster ahead a day instead of where you were going to send them, and trust me, you will know when you were supposed to send them, said Electronic. That only makes sense to people who can see the future, and lucky for you, I can see the future, except the future is blurry because you came from it, said Angel. Yeah, sorry about that, and I am even more sorry about the fact that you die and can't come with us, said Electronic. It is inevitable. But we'll see you again, in another time, another life, another place, said Angel. Flyhair, if you don't mind my asking, how do you plan on finding the evil hideout? Asked Glockenstick. Oh, I forgot that was Glockenstick. Flyhair, if you don't mind my asking, how do you plan on finding the evil hideout? Asked Glockenstick while hiding between two walls. With this, said Flyhair while pulling out a jar with a hand in it. Is that the cop's hand in a jar? Asked Glockenstick. Yep, a hand of pure darkness. It can detect the biggest source of evil around, said Flyhair. So you plan on using it like a compass? I'm giving up on using Glockenstick's voice. It's just going to be my regular reading voice from now on, if that's alright. Asked Glockenstick. Yep, pretty simple, right? Asked Flyhair. That's for sure, but you haven't told Electronic about what the evil is yet, right? Asked Glockenstick. Of course not. If I did that, he probably wouldn't help me, said Flyhair. You mean us, said Glockenstick, lying about being on our side. You have very strange eyes and hair, said Flyhair. What do you mean? Also, you're one to talk about strange hair, continued Glockenstick before Flyhair had a chance to answer. I have never seen someone with one greenish blue eye and one brownish purple eye. And your hair is black, brown, blonde, white, and red, all at the same time. Also, ha ha. Very funny joke about the hair, said Flyhair sarcastically. My eyes are a result of time travel, and my hair is in a constant flux, said Glockenstick. How? Asked Flyhair. I am a secretive man, and I have already told you too much, said Glockenstick. What are you two talking about? Asked Yeti while jumping off the top of the wall. What is it to you? Asked Glockenstick and Flyhair. Electronic assigned me to make sure you weren't doing anything suspicious. And he told Dusty to keep an eye on you, too, as well, said Yeti. So Electronic doesn't trust us, asked Glockenstick and Flyhair. He trusts Glockenstick more if that makes you feel any better, said Yeti. I am flattered, said Glockenstick somewhat sarcastically. He doesn't trust me, huh? Said Flyer. Electronic wants to see all of us right now, said Soundbeam. Okay, we'll come and see what he wants, said Glockenstick while rubbing his eyebrows. Sorry I called you away from whatever you were doing, but I have to make sure that none of you intervene. The past must stay as it is, said Electronic while locking each member of the team in separate rooms. Hey, you can't do this to us, said Glockenstick. Glockenstick, I promise that you will make it to the end of this adventure, said Electronic. I promise that I won't betray you on this adventure, said Glockenstick. Both of us know that we will not be able to keep the promises we have just made, said Electronic happily. You are right. You know me all too well, said Glockenstick happily. This is to protect the past and to reach the future, said Electronic while locking Glockenstick and then himself in separate rooms while looking at his gold necklace. One day of screaming and memories later. What? I thought we were going home, said Time Bomb and Soundcaster. I thought I was going to be imprisoned again, said Spiderly happily. I don't know what I thought, said Sliver McGiver, truly confused with what is happening. You are here because of me, said Electronic. What are you going to do to us, cop? Asked Soundcaster bravely. I'm not the cop, it is me, Electronic, said Electronic happily. Don't worry, you can trust him, said Glockenstick, realizing that Siren wouldn't know him yet, just a second too late. Who are you? I feel like I have seen you before, asked Soundcaster. There's more than one of you, me. You must have met the mysterious stranger version of myself, said Glockenstick, not entirely sure where the idea of a mysterious stranger version came from, but also thinking it strange that she would even think that she recognized him. Ah, okay then, said Soundcaster, knowing not to question things at this point when it came to do with anything related to Electronic or Venturian. Don't worry, I've brought you all here because we need a new team to fight the new darkness, said Flyhair. Good to see you gathered a good team here, said Grace happily. Good to see that you have your memories back, Origin, said Flyer evilly. Call me Grace, said the Origin angrily. Grace, yelled Sliver McGiver happily. Oh, Sliver McGiver, you're here. You know, Flyer, I'm thinking about retracting my statement about how you gathered a good team, said the Origin evilly. What happened to you? Asked Sliver McGiver. I got my memories back from every timeline, said the Origin. You used to be so nice, said Sliver McGiver, while looking at his gold necklace. Yes, but that was before you hit my brother over the head with a stick, thus sending him to the hospital, said the Origin. He upset you, and I couldn't stand for that. Besides, he was a shapeshifter. Nobody likes a shapeshifter, said Sliver McGiver. True, and I did forgive you for that. But then you went and caused that sprinkler to land on his head, sending him to the hospital again, said the Origin. Oh, come on, that one was a genuine accident, said Sliver McGiver truthfully. Don't talk to me again, said the Origin. I can see why you didn't let her on the team this time round, said Sliver McGiver. I know, right? But speaking of which, Glockenstick, what happened to your team? Asked Electronic. Old Man Jenkins sacrificed himself to a horde of the resurrected to save us. The Red Ninja finally became resurrected from a bite to the hand, after 2 months, of course. The Mune got bit in the jugular, causing him to die of blood loss. Probably one of my darkest parts of my story is right here, which was that line. The wind said something about a vampire and disappeared the next day. I have no idea what happened to my son or his wife, said Glockenstick, lying to hide the true pain. I'm so sorry, said Electronic, knowing that Glockenstick wasn't telling the full truth. There was nothing you could have done, Electronic. There was nothing you could have done, said Glockenstick, knowing that Electronic knew that he was lying. Chapter 4, Finally Some Fighting. And that's where we'll leave it off for today. And this episode. So this is the Cowardly Time Lord signing off and saying have a good day, or whatever time it is, wherever you are.